What's up, everyone? This is TJ coming to you from Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I'm here with my girl Brooks. And today's video, we're going to dive into a topic that I was asked to cover from the comments. And on that note, if you ever have anything that you want to hear from my channel, please leave comments and tell me what it is, and that lets me know how I can best help you. It also gives me some good ideas for videos, so keep them coming. I'm really enjoying it, and I actually have a whole list going of videos to make from your comments, so I will always try to get to it if I can. And as always, if anything on my channel resonates with you, topics such as self-care, self-love, maintaining a positive mental attitude, raw foods, and mindful movement, please subscribe to my channel and you will see some more videos on those topics. Now, diving into our conversation today, I'd like to talk about what it is to be an empath. And so, to offer a brief definition as I see it, is to be an empath is to have the ability to very deeply feel outside of oneself. And that can be both positive and negative. You can feel others' joys and happiness, but you can also feel their pain and suffering as well. And it's more than just being able to acknowledge and hear, you know, the feelings from others. It's actually being able to feel it for yourself. And it means that you're able to not only connect very deeply to yourself, but you're also able to connect on a very deep level with those around you and even to the living environment as well. Basically being able to connect to any living source. And within that connection, it can be really tricky as an empath in these type societies like here in the United States, where we're told, especially as males, that we're supposed to suppress our emotions and we're not supposed to cry and we're not supposed to feel certain things as they rise up. And that can be so dangerous because it can lead people like me into areas of addiction, and basically saying, oh, instead of dealing with all the crap that's coming up in my life, I'm gonna reach for anything that I can to shove it away. And that leads to destructive cycles, of course, and it can be really hard to break out of those, especially if you're getting into a cycle where you're purposefully getting into an unconscious state. So on a more positive light, I want to offer a story from my childhood that really allowed me to see that I have been an empath my entire life. So when I was about 5 years old, someone came into my kindergarten class and they were talking about littering and how it affects the environment and how, you know, throwing trash on the ground is not a good thing. And that lesson hit home for me. And well, I mean, still to this day, I still feel it, but there was a time when I was really young where litter really bothered me. Like I could almost like feel the effects that litter was having on the earth, and I would cry. And when the wind would pick up and I'd see the trash blow around, it would drive me bonkers because there's trash blowing all over the place, and like, I can feel it and it's bad and I know it's not good for the environment. So like, looking back on that now, like that was something that my family kind of laughed at, you know, and like, oh, how silly is that, you know? And to many people that is really silly, you know, like a little kid like freaking out because there's wind blowing trash around. But now looking back, understanding that it was coming from a place of deep connection and feeling for the environment, I now understand where it's coming from and why I was feeling that way. So that's just an example that I'm able to look back, you know, at a younger place in my life and see that yes, I in fact was an empath even back then and always have been. So another thing that I want to dive into within being an empath is cocooning or seclusion, pulling away at times. And I feel that this is a response that is necessary, but it's also a response that can be harmful if taken too far. So where I think that it can be a good thing is things like pulling away from maybe drinking culture. If you're an alcoholic, is a good way to get away from drinking and to move past that addiction, rather than continuing to subject yourself to the same, community of people that you are around. It's not going to make it any easier to quit. So sometimes that pulling away and that cocooning, as I like to call it, is a good thing for growth and for self-connection and for the empath to be able to connect back into self. Because sometimes as an empath, we will give all of our heart to those outside of ourselves, and sometimes that can lead to us losing ourself. So that cocooning, that seclusion can bring us back into a better connection within ourselves, and that's our foundation. We all need to be connected to ourselves, and once we can really connect fully to ourselves, and I call it the self-love cup, if we can fill up our self-love cup to the point that it's just overflowing, then we can give away that overflow to everyone else. But if your self-love cup is not full, and you're trying to give every last drop to everyone else, you're going to lose yourself, and that becomes very dangerous. So seclusion within being an empath is a very slippery slope, and it's a good thing in many cases because it's a form of self-protection from feeling too deeply or giving all of that love away. But it can also become to the extreme, and then you're just kind of shut away from everyone altogether, and then you have no connection to community and to others, and that's also really important in maintaining a healthy, balanced life. So I'm gonna leave it there. If you want to hear any other topics on what it is to be an empath, or about being an empath, please leave me specific comments, and I will be sure to get to them when I can. As always, like, share, comment, and subscribe, and that lets me know that I'm doing a good job and to keep going. Until our next video, thank you for watching, and I'll see you then.